Another day in the office of Bondster'S. Thank you so much, Pavel, for your time and for your invitation to have a personal meeting and exchange. I really appreciate that so much. It's very important for me as a private investor. But I think we will skip the introduction right now because we already captured this in the last interview we made about several weeks ago with a Zoom meeting in COVID times. So
Yes.
More than happy that it's possible right now to come here to the Czech Republic, to Prague, and meet in person. But I have some additional questions, I think, and topics that would be interesting and exciting to cover. So first of all, I would be interested to cover in this interview the plans and ambitions for the upcoming years of Bondster. Yesterday with Richard we talked about the next months, but I think it's also interesting to have this long-term perspective of a platform, of a company. Your financial goals, and then for me as an investor and probably also for the audience, very interesting to hear more about the Mikrokasa story, because I'm still waiting for an amount of money. I was positively surprised that you managed to get back a lot of the investments already, but now I'm missing information, and it's my money and I want to have it back, So of course it's something that is part of the game, but also I would like to have an update on that. And then yesterday we have been talking about the crypto-backed loans, and I was a bit curious about that, but I'm not so much enthusiastic about crypto, so maybe this is also the reason. But of course in the audience there might be different opinions on that, so it's also interesting to discuss this in the comments. But I think these are the topics I would like to cover. And also I saw the sign of Acema at the entrance today in the morning when I arrived with the Bolt. And so obviously there is a connection and owner connection, and I would also like to cover this because it's also always a topic of a potential conflict of interest. It is just interesting to see it transparent. Okay, so maybe let's start with the Bondster plans and ambitions for the upcoming years.
Okay. So Richard probably talked about the crypto loans, the second-rank mortgages, which are, let's say, in the very near future. For upcoming years, definitely we are starting probably in the fourth quarter or first quarter next year, a really deep focus on Germany and Austria. We already started some negotiations with some partners in this area, because we are not at this time doing any huge marketing action in there. So we would like to cover these regions as we see our product very good for investors from those countries as well. So we would like to compete the competitors even in these countries. So it's a huge step for us. And of course, we are still thinking about the way of using the regulatory environment. So within next year, definitely we will be under the regulatory of EU, and then some steps maybe for some further regulation, which are not, let's say, official at this time, but we want to go a little bit further with Bondster. To cover maybe more services, more regulated services to our investors, maybe other customers as well.
So you feel confident that you can continue the business, whatever regulations are up to come in the next years from the European Union?
Definitely, yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
so you're prepared on that?
Okay. For sure.
That's very good. Okay, and from the financial goals?
From the financial goals, look, we are our long-term plan. The neutral scenario was to get to the break-even point. I think it was August next year.
Okay.
As we had some better results this year, I expect that we can get it in the neutral scenario probably April, May next year.
Okay.
And if it will be the ambitious plan we still have, it can easily be in somewhere at the end of this year, maybe in the very beginning of next year. So financially, definitely break-even point next year is our main target.
Okay, sounds good. So profitable starting 2022
yes.
is the goal.
Yeah.
Okay, very good. And regarding the partners in the German community, I think you are talking about getting more investors, so not about loan originators or something in Germany
sure.
or in Austria or in Switzerland or wherever. So you're talking about the investors community.
Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely.
Then back to the hot topic, Mikrokasa. Important for me as an investor. I'm waiting for some money in my account.
Yeah.
So I miss updates, like also others in the audience.
Okay. Maybe good.
Honest updates.
Yeah, maybe good point from you. Maybe would be fine. I would tell guys to prepare some big update, not only of Mikrokasa but all the Polish providers to deliver it to all the investors. But honestly, the situation is, I don't want to say the same, because still all the Polish providers are sending some settlements, so we are continuously resending the money to our investors. Anyway, Mikrokasa and Speedcash are in a specific regime in Poland. It's a kind of insolvency procedure. It's the restructuralization procedure under the court, where part of this portfolio of Mikrokasa is kind of blocked. And right now we are using our legal representative in Poland, which we hired, and who is kind of fighting for these debts. At this time, also Mikrokasa is repaying all the buybacks that are not under this insolvency regime. So all the money they are sending are on this portfolio out of this insolvency regime. But this part of the portfolio which is under this insolvency regime, we have to wait for the decision of the court. The Polish courts, if I would go into some more detail, think about those loans as assets of Mikrokasa. In a long-term perspective, with our lawyers, we are trying to convince them with all the evidence, with all the law opinions and so on, that that's not it. That this is it's an asset of investor, and
It's
Mikrokasa,
yeah,
it's your property, and Mikrokasa is only a point of payment from the legal point of view. So that's our work right now, what we are doing. We also made some let's say more aggressive action from the legal point of view. So we're still fighting for the money. From the other hand, meaning from the complex of the whole situation with Polish providers, I still think that this strategy we made, that we made the agreements with all the providers, is still more beneficial for the investors, also for the loan originators, because they could continue the business. We are, let's say, 1 year and few months after the crisis just stepped in and impacted the Polish portfolio. And we are more over the half of the whole debt, of the total debt. I think that, for example, I think it is Omnigrant who is really close to cover all the debts. Lime South Africa, which is not a Polish problem but also impacted by COVID. Lime South Africa already repaid 100% to all the investors, so it's already covered. So slowly we are covering all the debts, and why I think the strategy works is that we are really 1 year after the problem, and if as I know Polish collection processes and collection environment, if we go the legal way, completely the legal way, I don't think within 1 year we will be with some of them in a half of the debt, or nearly 200%. So it's still negotiations. When there is some change in the payment order, I talk to the CEOs of those Polish companies. I'm going to see all the financial results. They are showing me the numbers, and we are really discussing what the next steps and the next months what will happen. So still, like I would say, fighting for our investors to get as much as possible. I can't guarantee the parts under these insolvency procedures because it's a decision of court, but the rest I am pretty much convinced that 100% of that will be covered, but in time, of course.
Okay, so to put it in a nutshell, for us as investors, it's most important that you represent us to get as much as possible on the one hand and as fast as possible because it's our money. I remember I had a lot of exchange about that also with Jana in those days, when she was the CEO, the former CEO of Bondster, before you overtook you made the job. And I was positively surprised about the repayments in a certain time frame, but now of course it's stopped a bit, it's slowed down, and for me it's strange what Polish law courts say, because for me it's a debt, and not equity, because if they have a debt at us investors, it's not equity of the company. So for me it's very strange, their opinion, and I think it's very important that the lawyers try the best, because this will make a lot of change also on the part we get back, I guess. So I miss it. So I make these interviews not only for the investors. People know that it's for the audience. It's also a lot about my own investments, and I'm missing some money of Mikrokasa still. I'm waiting to come back, and I would be interested just in the percentage. Which part is already repaid? How much is still to be repaid? And how do you see the chances to get 100% at the end, including interest?
Mm-hmm. You mean with Mikrokasa only?
Mikrokasa only, sorry, that's my case.
Okay. I think that with Mikrokasa, if I remember well the numbers, I think we are like 60% covered already.
Okay. It's also my experience, I guess.
Yes, but the share of which is under this insolvency regime is right now on the total debt, of course, bigger and bigger, because every settlement made from Mikrokasa is only matched to this part of portfolio which is not under this regime. So right now, from the total debt, the part under insolvency regime is maybe 80%, maybe more. So
what's left?
Yeah, what's left? What's left to be paid?
Of all it is about, if you take the full amount.
The full amount
how much
right now
is under the regime?
I just I don't know whether it is correct to say the, let's say, exact figures, but we are talking in lower hundreds of thousands of euro.
So sorry about
few hundred thousands.
But from the percentage, how much would you say is under the regime from the whole amount?
Right now,
outstanding
I think really
beginning?
70-80% is under this regime. So what's left is still being repaid, but this share will rise as the rest will be repaid in total. Then it will be 100% under this regime.
Okay, and this part, percentage or chances to get back?
Well, it's really guessing, because we're still really fighting, and really, as you said, that it is, I really can't get it, how the Polish law is just looking at it this way.
It's just crazy for me.
Yeah. We really, and as I don't get it, we really made one step which is quite aggressive, but we did it. We put a criminal suit. So we try like a Polish
criminal suit against
criminal
whom?
Just against the
Polish regime or
no against the speed cash representatives, just to police investigate the real legal status of our situation. And at that point, we think that they have to unblock these loans, and then of course we can recover it and recover it for our investors. So at that point, I think we can get close to 100%, because then, for example, with Speed Cash, it's loans backed with real estate. With Mikrokasa, it's the same. I think we can recover a pretty much high amount. But if it stays in this regime, then it can be like from 20 to 50, I guess, because for example, in Czech Republic, these recoveries on these insolvency regime processes is in average like about 50% within 5 years. So then after the decision of the court, then of course, as you said, it's a part of the game, it can be this kind of impact.
Of course, but still interested to get as much as possible to be.
Yeah. So our goal right now is to get all those loans like out of this process, and then we can recover it easily. But if it stays in, then it can be a decision of court that all the debts of this provider will be covered in whatever 44% or something like that.
Of course, I mean, I'm positive and profitable at my P2P investments at Bondster's anyway, since the beginning, but still you want to make as much return as possible. Yeah?
Sure.
Yeah, every euro counts. Yeah. Okay, but I think this is covered right now. This is the update. Also looking for the exchange about all that in the comments, yeah, in our community. Then coming back to the crypto-backed loans, I was also overthinking all that in the night. Yeah. Myself, I have about 1 to 3% of my asset allocation in cryptocurrencies. I think this is for me okay, but on the other hand, I prefer real business like shares of stock joint companies or loans where I know the business behind. Example, IBANCAR, where I exactly know what they are doing, how the pledge is working, how they back finance on each platform, and I know all the persons behind and know this is the business scenario and this is something I like to invest. With these cryptocurrencies, for me, it's nothing I can control, because for me it's just the value people give the money or give the currency. So for me, it's hard to understand. For example, yesterday when I talked to Richard, that he says, okay, the pledge is the cryptocurrency for the loan, and they have the double value in the cryptocurrency in the pledge than the loan they take. This is what he explained me. Yeah. But what's the reason or what's the point? Why does Acema, which is the loan original we are talking about, take such a loan? For me, it would make more sense to put the money to work itself, not to put it in a cryptocurrency and then take a loan for that money.
Well, it works like a normal loan. Acema is providing this loan to some end borrower, and mainly it's a cryptocurrency player, I would say, because
that's the point I wanted to talk about.
Yeah. It's and I think that most of the customers of Acema, these end borrowers, these clients, are those who already have some bitcoins. For example, they have 2 bitcoins, and they expect the market of Bitcoin will rise, so they can use it as a leverage. So they can borrow some money, and that's the point. And of course, it goes with the interest. So it's very interesting for Acema to borrow this money with such interest, and have it like backed up with Bitcoin.
Okay, now I got it. So they expect, or they are enthusiastic about cryptocurrencies and think they will make more gains on the cryptocurrency than I think it will be 12% or something. What's the interest rate for us investors?
For you as investors, it will be like in the very beginning we think we can get to 10%, but it's a question of the demand of the end borrower. And based on that is recalculated the interest for you as an investors, and I think we can get between 8 to really 11% with buyback, with investments with buyback, and
buyback by Acema.
Buyback by Acema. And if there is no buyback, so maybe in the future those loans will appear on the platform as well, like backed with the cryptocurrencies. and they can get more. They can get to 13-14%
But without
for
buyback.
you. Yeah, but without any buyback.
Okay, so one more question about that. Sorry.
And maybe I would explain you those double up of the, as you asked, of the collateral. It is not only a double up. It's the same way. Just think about it the same way as you think when the collateral is a real estate. So there are offers on that crypto exchange from Acema that are with 50% LTV, 70% LTV
So
is the maximum.
depending.
So it depends. The 50% is because this is a quite complicated product to explain. So that's why we started to explain it on 50% LTV. So as you want to borrow the amount of 1 Bitcoin, you have to give 2 Bitcoins as a collateral. So it's maybe easily to understand when we're using this 50% LTV, but it can also get to 70% LTV in the moment of providing the loan. So it's the maximum.
Okay, but now it's a big difference for me because now, me personally, I actually get to understand it step by step. Yeah. So, but one additional question on that: what kind of loans are we talking about? So these are people like business owners, or is it a private person, or is it a consumer loan, or what is it?
It's a private people. I think that part of them are business loans. Part of them are really private loans. As it is provided on exchange market, which is not under like Czech law regime, I don't think they are considered as consumers. So we're not like from the law point or legal point of view. Anyway, I think more of them are like private investors like you.
So private investors.
Yeah.
People that like the risk, obviously, because if I take a loan for a cryptocurrency and
it falls down,
I mean, one more question for me to understand. I always like to try to understand the whole business. What will be the interest rate they have to pay? So what's the spread between for Acema and for Bondster's as well? Because everybody has to make money between, otherwise it's not possible to have a business.
As I saw some numbers from already disbursed loans, it moves from 15 to 30% per year.
Okay, makes sense for the buyback.
For the end,
Okay, this makes sense.
But also there are some fees of the exchange and so on, some other things that are not like covered by this. So
sure,
somewhere in between.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, but okay, it's high risk in my opinion. These persons they are living,
For them,
but
yes.
okay, that's part of the game, and these are our clients, and it's to make leverage with cryptocurrencies. Okay, but okay,
yes,
I would not do that.
From the point of view of you as a private investor, as you said that you don't want to like be scared of the volatility of those markets and risk that much and so on, then I think it's. If you think about investing into loans backed with real estate, that you somehow partially invest into real estate, if this is like the thinking we accept, then but it is safer. It's not with that so much service you need to do with the real estate and so on. So that's why you invest into a loan backed with real estate. The same way we can see the loan backed with cryptocurrency. So you're not investing directly to the cryptocurrency, so you're not, the volatility of the market doesn't affect you. You don't have to go through all the entrance barriers like the codes, the wallets, you don't have to keep it, save it, whatever, all these to find the exchange market, look for the fees and so on. And so easily you can invest to it with some fixed interest, and you know that the mechanism behind and also the buyback guarantee by Acema is guaranteeing you some stable profit. So it's loan like any other, only with a different collateral. So I think from my point of view, for a big investor into cryptocurrency, the cryptocurrency market is the way he should probably go, because it's in a bigger amount and he should probably chase the bigger interest, the bigger yield. But if you're just like investing into loans, I think the loan with cryptocurrency is one of your portfolio.
It might be, I consider even to do invest as well in this kind of loans, because from my perspective, we have two perspectives of investors at the moment. The one that is the client and the one that are we investors from Bondster. Yeah? So from investor of Bondster perspective, for me it's okay. Yeah? It's an interesting product. I could consider to invest in, which is the reason why I'm sitting here in this room and not at Acema, for example, at the moment. But yeah, of course, it's a different approach. Yeah? So this investor of the cryptocurrency has a completely different approach than I have as a private investor, which is obvious because people are different, and we never know who will have the success at the end and who will make. He also has, of course, a big opportunity to the upside for sure. I might not have, but I like it the conservative way and with a very diversified asset allocation and long-term thoughts. But anyway. But I understand the product much better right now. So this is something interesting for me. Yeah. Okay, so but to continue and not make it too long, but it's always so exciting to talk about this and try to go deeper into it and understand everything. I would like to also come back to the loans. Yesterday I just covered it very fast in the interview with Richard. We were talking that you will also offer loans with real estate as a collateral. Mm-hmm. It's also from Acema, I think.
Yes.
We will also talk about Acema. Some more thoughts. But what is it, and does it have a buyback as well? And what will be the interest rate? Maybe you can put some more light in that, because the big difference we have to mention is I never checked Acema closer because I always skipped that loan originator because it was not listed in euro.
Yes.
They only listed in Czech crowns, and I, for myself, of course, will be different investors in the audience as always. Yeah, but I wasn't prepared to invest in Czech crowns at this time, so I only invest in euros on Bondster at the moment. Yes. Yeah, so this was not interesting for me. But now we are talking as well on the crypto-backed loans as on the ones with the collateral of the real estate. We are talking about loans listed in euro currency. So now it's getting interesting for me. This is the reason why I'm asking you these questions. Yeah?
Okay.
So what is it about these other loans with the real estate?
Yeah, completely correct. And I think even this was the idea that as our, let's say, not Czech private investors are getting bigger and bigger community, to offer them also these loans in euro. So that was the idea behind that. So as Acema is as a like first provider, loan provider on the platform, is providing loans backed with real estate. So we will start with these, let's say, first-ranked normal mortgage loans. Most of them, like from the portfolio of Acema, they are business loan. They are not consumer loans. I would say that maybe 98% of the portfolio are business loans backed with collateral with a real estate. Right now, they are starting a new product, which will come soon, of course, on the platform. Also in euro, are the mortgages in the second rank. So it's the same. It's completely the same business loan as with the first rank, but it's a second-ranked mortgage. So that's it. And the third will be the cryptocurrency-backed loans. Will be also listed in euro on the platform. And we are talking about really maybe a few days, some of them with a few weeks. So definitely in a third quarter, all of them will be listed on the platform.
But what's most important for me as well, because I want to make money, what is the interest rate? What is the return?
Okay. The first-ranked mortgages are between, and it depends on LTV. It comes from 5 to probably 8-9%. For example, when I'm talking about 5, because it looks quite low, but the risk is with this was very low because we listed it in Czech crowns, and it was for example, this loan was. The collateral was a real estate in the center of Karlovy Vary, the value of the real estate was something like 70 million crowns, and the LTV was maybe 30%, and it was rented to one of the biggest banks in Czech Republic. So it was like maybe I won't say that maybe a zero risk. Zero risk is a fantasy, of course, but really a minimal risk. So Acema is scoring all those loans with risk. So the lower the risk, the lower their interest rate, and of course then with the spread, the lower the interest rate or the yield for the investors. So the range is like this. It can be higher, and also with the second-rank mortgages, then there the interest rate can come to 11, 12%. Again, the LTV and the risk is counting. And with the cryptocurrency loans, I already said that we are starting about some 10, 11%.
We covered this already. Okay, of course, there will be always investors that are interested in that. For me personally, 6%, 5% in P2P investments or P2B investments is too less, because I want to have this, as I always repeat in several interviews and on different platforms, this at least above 10%. If it's a first rank loan with real estate as a pledge, 10%, but not below. And there are competitors that offer first rank loans with real estate as a pledge with 10% and above. And then I'm going for that, but below I go for the stock market, for example. Also for real estate assets, maybe on Vonovia or whatever, it's just a stock joint company. Because on the long term, I expect about 8% on the stock market. On the long term, of course, that have been really great year 2020. We all know that. And I massively went in the stock market in March, which was probably not the worst decision after all. But now it's also for me important to rebalance and also keep this diversification and asset allocation for the risk management. So I don't want to be all in the stock market, because I think it has been a good time, and it was, of course, a good decision. We did not have the crystal ball in advance, but it was okay. But you should not forget that times might change, and this is also when P2P still is in the game, in my opinion, and also such loans. But for me, it has to be above this 10% on the first rank at the moment. We don't know how everything develops. Also because of this inflation scenario I have, because if we get a high inflation, which is also in the euro currency, probably possible, I think it might be maybe for my personal approach to this. Anyway, we have these crypto-backed loans, which might be interesting for me now when I understand the product from Bondster investors' perspective, not from the other one, because I don't like leverage so much. And I reduce at the moment, in general, all the real estate, how do you say, the asset that is connected to real estate. The reason is because I very potentially will buy an apartment myself in Marbella. I already made videos about that as well, very transparent. And so for me, this is also a kind of investment in real estate. So I reduce on the stock market as well as in the P2P. The real estate is also a reason why I reduce. We can also use these names. We all know that once. Like Asset Guru, I'm reducing not only because, it's not because I don't trust them anymore. It's just because I say, okay, if I have real estate in this asset allocation already myself, then I reduce real estate on other investments. Okay, but then there is one more topic I would like to cover in case I invest in Acema. I saw the sign at the entrance today in the morning when I arrived here with my Bolt here, and Acema is on the same building as Bondster. So for me, it's obvious that there is a connection, and this is very important for me as an investor because it's always a topic of conflict of interest. So what is the connection between Bondster and Acema? I did not find it in the description of the loan originator on the website of Bondster. In the English description, I checked it. I saw no connection, but there is a connection for sure of the owners or whatever.
Well, yeah. Like if I would say the formal UBO of Acema and the UBO of Bondster at the end is the same person. It's Mr. Václav Váleś.
Yeah, we talked about it in last interview.
We talked about that. Anyway, like this financial group is managed by the Valeš family, like not only by him. And as we talked, it's like a partner company from that point of view. But Bondster is owned with 100% by a CEP private equity company. But when we go to UBO, it's the same person. Yes.
So 100% is owned by the same person. Yeah.
Yes.
Both.
Yes, both.
So this is a big conflict of interest, in my opinion.
Can
With
be,
pros and cons. It's
can
not
be,
not meant
yeah,
negative.
with-
So don't understand me wrong.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
yeah.
something you have to mention transparent, I think, because I saw also even very positive so pros of the.
Sorry. As I'm I started to be I wanted to the whole interview to be without coughing,
Too long.
but it was too long.
Sorry. We have to add that you have been sick last week, so I really
Yeah,
appreciate
yeah,
that
yeah.
you came here. But it's not Corona. Yeah? You tested that, I hope.
Yeah, I'm tested negatively. I'm vaccinated. Everything.
Okay. So maybe I should. Okay.
Sorry for that.
No. I appreciate that you came here, even and you don't feel that good still.
Yeah.
But it was
Last
very
week I
important
was
since-
completely KO. I was really dead. Yeah.
Okay, but
So yeah, really, it is like that. Also, we get some know-how from Acema because they are like 20 years on the market. A lot of loans provided. So it's of course a great backup for us as a startup to have some kind of like a bigger sister
yeah.
here. Anyway, I have to say that all the decisions made like by Acema, meaning because Acema has their own board of directors, their own management, as well Bondster. So the decisions, meaning whether these loans will be with a buyback, what the interest rates will be, and so on, is the decision of Acema. And from all other than maybe some sharing some information from all other perspective are like completely separate companies.
Yeah, but at the end it's always the same, and it's just you say the guy who has the money, who has the gold, makes the decision which music is played. Yeah, so at the end, if the owner dictates something, it will happen in both companies.
Can
I
happen.
guess.
Yeah.
Potentially. Yeah.
I am saying can because, of course, I was also in the position when I was in the board of directors, when you are the responsible one, and the owner at that point, when he is not a part of the board of directors, then his influence is, well, there is the influence. You can stay or you can go if you don't, but he can't push you to somewhere where you don't want to be. So that's why I wanted to say that it's a kind of like separate decision-making companies, and here the statutory body is me and Richard Kouba, and there is the statutory body of the decision-making body of Acema is completely different team. So of course there is an influence like everywhere of the owner, but the decision is the management decision. So
no, I got it. I think we already right now we covered enough the critical perspective of that, but this is the way I ask because it's very important for myself, and I
yeah,
try
that's
to,
why I openly like
transparent
talk about that.
as transparent as possible about everything, but also want to mention transparent, and I also have some positive perspectives about that and experiences, because we all learned, I guess, a lot in the COVID crisis from the market adjustment, beginning of platforms and so on. Also about the importance to look closely to the platforms, not only to the loan originators. I think both is very important. We experienced that. And but also loan originators learned a lot, platforms learned a lot, investors learned a lot. So it was a big learning. And for me, it was also an interesting experience that from my platforms I was invested, the ones that made in-house back financing, so the loans from the same company, like we are talking about Twino or Pandora or Swapper, for example, also. Yeah, a lot of people were critical about those platforms. As there are always people that are critical and pro and cons and positive and negative, whatever. We know all that. But my experience that they even did better in the crisis than the ones that had external loan originators, which is also interesting. So there are also pros if you are in the same ownership, because you have more control on everything. So you have to see both sides. It's maybe sometimes different for the controlling, but I also talked at the coffee with Richard about the controlling and about the risk management, how he's doing in-house and how he's feeling. Yeah, of course he will be careful what's saying me, because he knows I'm the critical investor. But still, he said for him it's easy. This is what he said, because he gets all the information he wants to get, and very often more difficult to get it from external loan originators. So it's very much also, I guess, depending on what is the company about? Yeah. So is it trust?
Yeah, I would maybe add one number, which is the one that like makes me feel safe as an investor, because of course I'm an investor in Bondster as well. Acema portfolio, the loan portfolio is about, I would say, maybe 2 billion crowns. And the funding resources on Bondster are around 10% of the whole portfolio. So if Acema is like 80-90% funded by Bondster, then the conflict of interest, then the risk and the connection is really fragile. And maybe I would also say, okay, alert, just keep your red button on. But from this point of view, like Bondster is not kind of like major funder or something like that. So from this point of view, it's a really like low exposure of Acema. So more I see Acema as a really normal loan provider
so one of many.
One of many, yeah.
Yeah, but still, even if it would be 100% only this, it's also okay. I think it's nothing to say it's negative. It's just a different approach. Yeah,
it's a different approach, different risk.
Different risk, and you have to know that also for your own research, for your own asset allocation, diversification, on your own risk management. Because I think it's very important. That's also what I repeat in every interview. What we are talking about is no investment recommendation. Would never do this. I'm just exchanging about what I'm talking about, what is my research and about my own decisions, and then we can exchange about that. But everybody has to do his own homework. Yes. So this is very important, and is responsible by himself. That's just the point on investments. If you are not up for that, I think you should not invest.
What we see a low risk, someone can see as a high risk.
Exactly. So this is a different opinion on that. But for me, it's interesting to have both in the portfolio. This is also something I would mention, because we have been talking very negative about that. But I have to mention I have this in my portfolio, and I'm happy about that. Yeah. So it's nothing negative. And also, I consider to make more research on Acema right now, because I did not in the past, because it was no euro loan. So it was for me not waste time. Yeah, it's time efficiency, and at least private investor sounds like being like the fancy life only, but it's still a lot of work, and I'm busy every day from the morning to the evening, also with 2 companies and all the other stuff I'm doing. So sometimes don't want to waste time, and but now interesting, and maybe we can. It's in the same building, so maybe we can have a view on that later.
Yeah, sure. And also, if you want to talk with some of the management, just to have like more information, it's no problem to provide you this meeting.
Maybe I would appreciate just an office tour to get the first feeling, because I consider right now to do more research on Acema and also start investing in that.
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I think we covered most already. I wrote down, but one last question. It's always that exciting for me to talk to you. So sorry, but if I'm here and I came here to Prague, I want to use every minute. Once more about IBANCAR. This is for me an investment scenario I really like. It's just a fact. No, maybe I'm completely wrong. It's also something I have to say. Maybe this one goes like we don't know. But for me, it's the feeling. I understand a lot and know a lot of people behind, which gives me trust, because I don't like only these online investments. This is very good. I love fintech because it's easy to use. It saves money and so on, but still there are always a team behind, people behind, and I want to know that the business and the office and the people and everything behind. I know that at IBANCAR, I guess, which gives me a better feeling. Do you think you will cooperate with Alexander Melis in future?
Yeah,
what's your opinion on that? We already talked a bit about this informal, but I would also like to cover it for the audience. So this is the reason why I'm taking.
Yeah, as we talked about that, we like to cooperate with IBANCAR, of course. Right now we are developing this API connection, which also on our side and also on the side of IBANCAR will speed up and make more effective the data exchange about the loans. So definitely yes. When we are ready to move to another step with the data exchange, I think also IBANCAR will appreciate that with a bigger offer on our platform. From the point of view, as I discussed with the risk guys, there is like no problem with IBANCAR. They still can go higher with the exposure inside the exposure limit they have. So as we see their financial data, we are completely convinced that it's one of our partners. We would like to cooperate in the future. So as we set up our, let's say, IT cooperation to another level, I think that all the investors will find some more offers of loans from IBANCAR as well.
So for me, it's always important to get as much information also between all the words you say. Yeah. So also from the due diligence perspective of Bondster, which is also important for me because I can do my own research, but you are professional. Yeah. So for me, it's also important your opinion on each loan originator. So from the due diligence opinion and from the risk management, you see it very positive at the moment.
Yeah. What I see positive, like from the point of view of IBANCAR. And it was I really have to admit that I didn't know that. It was news for me from you that they are listing all the loans that they are providing on the platforms, that they are listing on their websites, and you can cross-check whether this is a reality that the investor can invest to it, and you can find the particular loan which is listed on the platform that is listed on their website, which I think is pretty cool for investor to build the trust.
Definitely.
To see that that it really works.
It's a whole different story for me. The IBANCAR scenario. I'm sorry if some of the audience get bored by this topic because I repeat myself, but I think this is very crucial for everything. Yeah, because it's a whole different story for me in the IBANCAR investments in the loans. It's a complete different investment scenario than on other loan originators because they have so much transparency and I know so much about them. So they list on their website. They show everything, every loan they listed, so I can cross-check on all on all platforms the loans. Of course, there is still something you could hide. You can never get everything, but it's a different story for me because I can exactly see this loan with this number. Is it correct listed or is it maybe a fake loan on a potential P2P platform? Don't want to say names or anything, but it's just a risk that could happen on the platform, which is important for me as an investor, and this is a whole different approach on that point. And also, I've been talking in last week with Alexander, and I think it's no secret because I don't want to put all email, of course, what secret is secret, and I'm very happy to get this information. It's also private, but he will also add a point where he shows when he made the settlement to the platform. So we can even control if the platform transferred the money to us investors that he paid to the platform. And this is another great story for me. And this is what makes such an interesting investment scenario for me. So this is also a point why I'm asking you. And I think the crucial point, as I exchanged with Alexander Melis, and it's for me it's a special story because I was the one who connected Bondster and IBANCAR in Jana's times. So this is funny. The little private investor who connected these great companies. But so it's also a story of my heart that they come back to Bondster. And of course, it's not only because in the interest of Bondster, it's only my own interest, which at least we are all egoists at the end. But I know Bondster. Bondster is close to Vienna with Prague. I can come here. I know the office right now, which is a whole different story, for example, to you. This doesn't mean anything bad about them, but for me it's important also to have the diversification on the platforms to go into IBANCAR. And I want to invest more in the IBANCAR loans, but not at the one platform. So I would prefer to do it on Bondster. So this is the reason why I push it a bit, so that everybody understands why I'm doing this right now. Okay, but very interesting, and I hope that you connect again and that you find a way to develop this API, which is the crucial point, because he told me these spreadsheets, they just take so much time, and time is money because he has to pay the employees, and at least fintech and back financing on B2B platforms is about efficiency and saving money. So
it's the same for us.
Employees are expensive.
It's the same for us. We are not developing the API only with IBANCAR. We are developing it for all of our loan originators. So also we will speed up with the data exchange with all of them and make it more efficient.
Okay, perfect. For me, it was a very exciting exchange. Thank you, really, thank you so much for that. Again, once more. I think we already made like 1 hour, what? I don't know. Time passes so fast, close to an hour. So we will stop here and continue in the comments with the exchange, and we will have another update, I guess. We will stay connected, and if there are some more questions, we will also exchange on that. Prague is not that far. It was usually it's 3 hours to drive. On Sunday it was 5 hours because there was so much traffic. But I guess next time I will be luckier because it's not changing holiday, and it was so many Germans. It was not the Czech people. It was so many Germans and so on the motorway crossing through Czech Republic. But anyway, it's close to Vienna. This is what I wanted. That's the point. And we will stay in touch. And now I will do another interview with Vladimir, the risk analytic guy.
Okay.
There are, I think, two people are working for the risk.
Two in the risk team. Vladimir is the senior one.
Okay.
So you get all the information.
Perfect. I mean, we covered already a lot, but I will do some specific questions on that because it's also very important to
and
hear the opinion of different people in the team.
And he is really also the guy, because we're a small team, he is really also the guy. He's not kind of a manager above. He is really the man, hands in the financial statements, in the portfolio databases of the providers. So he's really the guy who can provide you all the information.
Super. Pavel, thank you so much. Thank you for your time. And
thank you.
Goodbye. And if you like the content, please thumbs up. It will help me for all the efforts we do and as a YouTuber. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.